ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, good evening. It is another rousing edition of the Social Slam. We are in episode 3, and I am your host, Greg Farmer, for this week. We are back after a little short hiatus, and we have a packed house tonight. We got Alex, Cobra, Jayme, and Kat. How are we doing tonight?
Doing good.
Great. Unfortunately,
I'm really excited to be here.
Alex was addicted to a little bit of Conan last week. That's why we weren't available. And of course, Greg, you had to deal with some kid problems. So I got a little something for you.
I gotta call my friend to send him to the Shadow Realm. Chris, here comes the United States champion.
Oh, my Lord.
That was just for you, man.
It's all good. I appreciate that. I just want to give a big shout out to Soundman Keith for the music on the show. Or am I wrong on that, Cobra?
Special thanks to artist Fred Brum. He is my friend who's been doing our theme, FAB. Don't forget to check him out.
Yep, I was completely wrong. Thank you for correcting me on that, Cobra. So we had kind of a busy week in the wrestling world. Last weekend we were supposed to cover the Elimination Chamber PLE. So we'll just get right into it. The women's Elimination Chamber match saw a returning Jade Cargill coming out to interrupt. And we all thought that she was going to go after Liv Morgan, but then in turn went after Naomi. And we will get into that little bit of a storyline here in just a few minutes. I didn't really catch much of the Elimination Chamber as I was out doing other stuff, but we're just going to talk about the elephant in the room. John Cena, in his last Elimination Chamber match, won the Elimination Chamber after submitting CM Punk, who took a stomp from Seth Rollins. And afterwards, Cody Rhodes came out to determine whether or not he was going to accept. Congratulate, and then we were going to find out if he was going to accept or deny The Rock's offer to be his champion and sell his soul. And Cody basically, quite literally, told The Rock to go F himself. And Cody turns to John Cena.
John Cena would then proceed to send Cody Rhodes to Dick Kick City.
Yep. John Cena turns heel for the first time. Yep, John Cena turns heel for the very first time in 22 years. Beat the ever-loving crap out of Cody Rhodes, left him bloodied in the ring. Alex, how do we feel about the John Cena heel turn?
So as a person who basically grew up being a John Cena lover, I had the t-shirts, the wristbands, the hats. I was a huge John Cena fan. I was not expecting this. This blew me away. I sat in front of my TV screen, dead silent for 20, 25 minutes, just lost in thought because I didn't know how to react to it. And the fact that The Rock is involved with this is horrendous. I think it's too late for him to turn heel. They should have done it, WrestleMania Part 2 with The Rock, and they were going to, and they didn't.
I tend to disagree with you on that, Alex. Unlike Hulk Hogan's turn at the 1996 Bash at the Beach, where he delivered that leg drop to Randy Savage and then turned heel and sided with the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan had more tread on the tires and stayed with WCW for at least 4 more years. John Cena announced his retirement. This is a bigger deal, if that makes sense. So to say, you may have cheered. You may have cheered John Cena for 22 years, but as the saying goes, desperate times call for desperate measures. It's not too late for him to turn heel. This was the perfect time for him to turn heel because it gives us, the fans, it doesn't give us time to digest turn, it makes us savor it a lot better than the Hogan heel turn. Which, by the way, to be fair to famous racist Hulk Hogan, his heel turn kind of sucked because he stayed for far too long. So, but John Cena, he's pretty much said at the end of the year he's done. So, I think this will have a lot more impact and a lot more teeth to go along with his heel turn. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. Who's next?
Kat, what are your feelings on it?
I loved every second of it. I love a good storyline, and this was the longest storyline that we've ever gotten as WWE fans. This is 22 years in the making. John Cena was supposed to have a heel turn. Was it 2013? 2019?
I
It was
believe
2013, Ratbird.
Oh, shut up,
it was.
Ginger. Who
It
let
was
you out?
supposed to be. It was supposed to be after his loss to The Rock at their first meeting at
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah. So the fact that he is turning heel with The Rock 12 years after he was supposed to turn heel with The Rock, this is like some mind-blowing storytelling on the part of Triple H. I'm giving all the credit to Triple H on this one. And the fact that it fits so well into John Cena's retirement and Cody Rhodes' reign as our champion, it all just folded into each other so well. And I would almost say that when John Cena then turns face again before retirement, because come on, he's going to turn face before he retires. It's just going to make us all love him even more.
Yeah, I have to agree. A couple things before we get to Jayme. I did see a report that said that John Cena actually was not supposed to turn heel until WrestleMania. But
Yes.
I'm really glad that they did it at Elimination Chamber because it gives us that much more of a build up to WrestleMania. And I'm really excited to see what is going to happen because Cena is actually advertised for Monday Night Raw on March 17th, which is not tomorrow but next week. And also, oh my lord, I forgot what I was going to say.
But I will add to. Let me add one more thing before you talk, Greg. See what to go along with Kat giving all the credit to Triple H's creative decisions. See what happens when you get rid of famous women respecter Vince McMahon.
Yep.
He's making his own wrestling company.
Yep. I remember what I was gonna say now. We're gonna get into it here in just a minute. After Jayme, but on Monday Night Raw, the following Monday, CM Punk started the show and absolutely cooked John Cena and The Rock on the mic. And I have a theory. Punk said that he was gonna see Cena down the road. One of the final live events for 2025 is going to take place in Boston, Massachusetts, which is Cena's hometown. What if Cena's last match is in Boston and it's against CM Punk and it's one of those things that sets John Cena's soul free from The Rock and he turns face to, go out and, with his retirement?
That would be an Andre. Hold on, Kat. That would be an Andre the Giant level of send off. Best way to do it. Why not purge the evil from his soul in his hometown of Boston? Kat, your turn.
Oh my goodness, great. I had a thought that he was gonna turn face again for his last match. I did not realize that could possibly be in Boston. I don't necessarily keep up with where the matches are going to be, but I also wonder if this could set Cena up for, he's not going to wrestle anymore, but could he be a manager? Could he come back and be
I think he's just gonna keep going into the acting biz. You know,
Yeah,
I
do
mean,
I can
Honda
see that.
that's totally possible.
Peacemaker, Honda commercials, take your pick.
McDonald's ads,
Fast and Furious.
Fruity Pebbles.
I mean, I
all
could
the
honestly see
things.
him. I could honestly see him in like a backstage role, maybe when he is available to show up, maybe like a performance trainer or something like that at the performance center, uh, and you know, making TV appearances every now and then. But let's get Jayme's thoughts on it.
I've been oh so patient, and I'm trying to contain my excitement because, kind of like Alex, I've liked John Cena. I've never actually purchased any of the shirts. That was more my dad's thing. But the only time that I ever rooted against Cena was when I was rooting for The Rock. And Elimination Chamber, leading up to there. Think about this. John Cena said the last time is now. He announces his retirement tour. How much of this time have we spent talking about John Cena just now compared to in the prior to Elimination Chamber? We kind of spoke
And to be
about him a
fair,
little bit
Jayme,
with the Rumble. We kind of spoke about him a little bit with some of his little feuds that he's had over the past few years. But when you're talking about making a guy must see, when you're talking about the epitome of cinema, John Cena finally doing what some fans have been longing for him to do for quite some time and be the bad guy, bring back that edge that he had. It's the absolute perfect time. And I'm kind of like what some people have said earlier. I'm very happy they didn't wait till WrestleMania because I feel like that would have tainted the match. I'm glad that they did Elimination Chamber because now they can build a good story. If he does end up winning his 17th championship and keeps going, that is awesome. If he doesn't, I'm excited to see where it still goes. That means that I'm invested in John Cena yet again. T-shirts are going to be flying off the sales. WWE is going to be making money. Seeing little kids and Alex cry over John Cena being a bad guy is amazing. And I am just ready to embrace heel Cena and show all the disrespect that he's about to deliver. It is going to be amazing.
which, by the way,
Yeah.
if you do buy John Cena merch, please use our affiliate link in the bio wherever you get your podcasts. We do have a link for Fanatics. Just a heads up.
Yeah. Did any of you guys happen to catch Stone Cold Steve Austin talking about Cena's heel turn and him saying that if Cody needed someone in his corner at WrestleMania, he would be available, and he is actually scheduled to be in Las Vegas WrestleMania weekend?
I heard rumors
I
that
wouldn't
he
be.
has plugins with that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Stone Cold being there in Las Vegas actually gets involved in that match. And to be fair, that is considered one of the greatest rivalries of the Attitude Era, Rock Austin, and to have Stone Cold Steve Austin being involved in one of the greatest WrestleMania build-ups, you know, it would be apropos for Stone Cold to be involved in a Rock rivalry once again. It'd be great.
Can I interject?
Go ahead.
I agree 100% in the significance of having those four gentlemen sharing the stage at WrestleMania. It is literally the WWE history books of passing the pillar from one person to another. Stone Cold passed it to The Rock. The Rock passed it to Cena. Cena is now passing it to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. You have those four elements.
Yes, you do. So we're gonna Move on to Monday Night Raw. As I stated before, CM Punk started the show and cooked The Rock and John Cena on the mic, and then went to lay into Seth Rollins and was interrupted. Punk did not even say a word. It was just on site, and they brawled. All the way into the backstage area. And then it was announced later on in the show that Punk and Rollins will be in a steel cage match tomorrow night on Raw, I believe. It is tomorrow night.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
Yes, they're Madison Square Garden. But the big point from Raw this past week was the Women's Championship match that main evented the show, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. And WWE decided to throw us a curveball and have Io Sky take the belt off of Rhea and go into WrestleMania as champion to face Bianca Belair. Alex, how do we feel about that decision?
I was not expecting it. I really thought they were going to keep Bianca and Rhea at Mania to have to do it again, even though we've seen it before. I did hear rumors that Rhea might have got injured at the Chamber or got injured during her match against Io, which is why they took the belt off of her. But to go with the whole, CM Punk vs. Rollins feud as well on Raw, this feels like 2013, 2014 CM Punk vs. Rollins all over again. The super big heels, Seth just turning against the Shield. Punk is saying that WWE is better off as Triple H being the helm of WWE. And this feels like it was 2013 all over again in WWE. Yep. I'm here for it. I love it. Right. But I think because Rhea might be injured, essentially, it's why they took the belt off of her. But my jaw hit the floor. I was like, no way they just did that to us. Same like I was on Tuesday when I was at NXT and Sean Spears won against Tony D. But I'm excited for Io and Bianca Mania. I'm definitely excited to see where they go with this. And, Io is now still undefeated against Rhea. You guys didn't know Io was 3-0 against Rhea entering that match. But I'm ready for it. And Mania looks to be a really good card on Easter weekend in April, and I'm here for it.
I know what you mean, but it's foam roller.
Yeah. What about you, Cobra?
Sorry, Ricky's getting involved in our wrestling podcast. Sorry about that, guys. Anywho, but yeah, with
jump on, Ricky.
He's right now. But he trust me, I would love him to be part of Social Slam. But Rhea Ripley losing the title to Io Sky, definitely like someone said, rumor going around that she got injured in Elimination Chamber. I'm highly inclined to believe those rumors true. That Rhea Ripley got injured and they had to audible the belt off of her. You could clearly tell she was when she was in the post match that she was frustrated. And normally when a wrestler gets frustrated, it's most likely because more often than not, it's not because of, sometimes it's booking, but more often than not, something had happened beforehand, and they had to lose because their body just couldn't do it. Like something happened. So I'm inclined to believe that an injury did happen to Rhea Ripley, so that hey, they had to get an audible. Io Sky is probably the best available. Give her the belt. Bianca Belair, Io Sky. Let's hope they rip the roof off. Rip the roof off of Allegiant Stadium and go to town.
What about you, Kat?
I heard she might be pregnant. Not injured.
Either way, that's still a cause for celebration, in a way.
Right. So, here's my other take. This road to WrestleMania has been literally the most unpredictable that I can remember. had somebody been like, oh yeah, John Cena's gonna turn heel and Io's gonna have the belt for Mania, I'd be like, you are on crack. Okay? That's not happening. Um, but here we are. So honestly, I love that Io has it. I don't remember the last time the women's division was this strong with so many options for who is holding the belt. So
Yeah.
the fact that it's Io right now, I'm not surprised, and I'm not upset.
Yeah.
All right. I'm reading an article right here, and it's saying that there is no injury. That WWE may be heading in the direction of a triple threat at WrestleMania between Io, Rhea, and Bianca Belair, but that remains to be seen.
That would be
But
awesome, though.
yes, but Jayme, what about you? What are your thoughts on Io winning the belt?
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad that you say that because I was about to question each and every one of you, figuring out what year of Elimination Chamber did y'all watch, because Rhea Ripley did not even have a match. All she did was come out on stage and have a face-off with Bianca Belair. So unless she twisted her ankle coming out to the stage, that would be the only injury she would have ever had. But as far as, I kind of agree with Kat. WrestleMania is all about hype. It's all about unpredictability, and it's all about storytelling. And I think with the curveballs that WWE is throwing at us, we're talking John Cena heel turn at Elimination Chamber, Monday Night Raw. Oh, guess what? Rhea Ripley's not the champion anymore. Friday Night SmackDown, LA Knight, is now
Yeah.
United States champion. They are changing their once everyone feels like they got the answers, they're changing the questions. And they're able to capitalize on making people very, very in tune with the product that they're putting on. And Io Sky is an amazing athlete. She is an amazing wrestler. And being paired up with Bianca Belair, who is a great storyteller in the ring, is going to make for an amazing matchup. And I do think a very frustrated Rhea Ripley is going to find her way back into that match. And seeing that as a triple threat is just going to be a catalyst for a potential main event at WrestleMania.
It feels good that the women's division isn't a popcorn match. I swear. It's about time.
I think I just said it. I think this is the best women's division WWE has ever had.
Yeah.
Without a
Like,
doubt.
Yeah.
when, we've had like superstars, we've had China and Charlotte Flair kind of led the way for a lot of these really strong female wrestlers to come in. And I mean, Charlotte's not
And
even that old,
no.
but
But
yeah, go ahead.
to add to that, in that sandwiched in between that, I mean, we had Alundra Blaze, Bull Nakano, in like the new generation era, that could wrestle and deliver matches. And we did have women's divisions way before that as well. But it always seemed like every single time the women's would get hot, it would immediately cool down. China, came to mind with Ivory Victoria. Then it would cool down a little bit. You had the Ruthless Aggression era had Lita, Trish Stratus being the forebearers of that division, and then that would
Mickey
cool down
James.
a bit. Yep. Then we'd have the Divas era, which definitely turned the women's division into popcorn matches and jokes, eye candy, bra and panties matches. Take your pick. You know, and then NXT happened. Calling up Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné and AEW, calling those four up. They really deserved it, and they definitely became the true forebearers on the proper evolution of women's wrestling turning into what is now. And credit where credit is due. Triple H has been the person to really show off the athleticism and the ability of the women's wrestlers, that they are not only as tough as the men, but they can go as hard as the men, and they're not just eye candy, sexy bodies and tits to look at like Vince McMahon used to make them out to be.
As a woman who likes watching wrestling, I hated the women's matches. I absolutely hated the women's matches because that's all it was. It was, how little material can we put on these women and have them jumping off of things? And, it was Playboy magazine, but in a wrestling ring. And it was really tough to watch, quite frankly. And the whole
You were
time you got
you were better. It was trying to turn the women's division into Pornhub. Let's call a spade a
yeah,
spade.
it was
Yeah,
awful to watch. And
yeah.
now
And look,
the
if
women are
you want to
actually
watch porn,
allowed
yeah. If you
the,
want to
the women
watch
are
the
actually
hub, watch
allowed to
the
do
hub.
it.
If you can,
Right.
if you're in a red state, you can't watch the hub.
Oh, tears. But being able to watch
Sucks to
these
be them.
women show their talent and actually have matches with content, it's just amazing and it's wonderful, and I'm really proud of the women who have built this division to
Let
being where it is today.
them wrestle. That's it. That's all they have to do because they have the talent. Let the women wrestle.
Yep. I mean, look at all the firsts that we've had over the last few years. The first ever women's Royal Rumble, first ever women's Hell in a Cell, first ever women's Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank.
First ever women's
The
main event, WrestleMania.
Yep, the
Wasn't
first
Becky
ever.
the first two-time women's champion? Like the double belts Becky, two belts Becky? Was she
Oh
the
yeah.
first woman to do that?
No.
No. Oh.
The was it Bianca and Sasha Banks the first ever two women to wrestle in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was absolutely historic. And
because of the how
The rules there.
extreme in the Islamic faith the Saudi Arabian government is.
yeah,
Let's call a spade a
like
spade about that.
yeah, and like Cobra and Kat were saying, in the early to mid 2000s, you had the bra and panties matches and the little bikini competitions and stuff like that. And like that was cool, as a teenage boy growing up, you wanted to see that everything that you could and stuff. But as I've gotten older and matured, you realize just how good these women actually are. And I mean, they had their own pay-per-view a couple years ago, and there is a report out there that says that the Evolution pay-per-view or PLE may be coming back this year.
Yeah. I also have to say this. It also gives you a question that lingers in the back of your mind, because now you go, okay, what if the women actually had the chance to do what they do now? Would the women's division be better, or would it be the same? Like, we truly don't know.
I feel like it's a Vince problem that he has so many dominant men on the roster that were world champion year in and year out, that were plastered every main event on existence. John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, Jinder Mahal, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, these big guys that were just plastered on most main events, Money in the Bank main events. The women were
Hey,
just put in the dust for nothing. I mean, hell, Lita had a sex scene on live television with Edge to celebrate her
don't
championship win. For what
don't
reason?
get me started on Vince McMahon's fetish for big sweaty men. Yeah, the less we talk about famous women, respect her Vince McMahon, the better. He
All
did
right.
have a
Well,
fetish for big, sweaty men.
all right. Well, before we jump into a little bit of AEW, we're gonna jump to Friday Night SmackDown a couple of nights ago. Randy Orton kicked off the show with a promo for the ages, um, where he basically called John Cena the Rock's bottom. That was that made me laugh. And then he started talking about hearing the voices again and how he was setting up to punt Kevin Owens in the head at Elimination Chamber, which kind of gives you the 2009 Randy Orton vibes where he's just running around as a menace, but this time it's in babyface form.
Oh, no. Now, the worst version of Randy Orton. No! I want babyface Randy Orton. No!
And
I
then
disagree. It's not a babyface version. This version of Randy Orton is in the Magic the Card Game rules a chaotic neutral, where he gets the boos, he gets the cheers,
By the
but you
way,
have absolutely no
correction.
idea what he's going to do.
Correction. That's not Magic the Gathering. That's Dungeons and Dragons alignment chart.
Well, cool. Then that's what it is. It was
and
somewhere in
then
that realm. Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, they're all the same thing.
They're not the same
and
thing.
then Cody Rhodes. Then you had Cody Rhodes come out and drop probably one of the best promos of his career, addressing the whole John Cena situation. And you could clearly see his black eye, and he did have an earplug in that he took out after he received a legitimate injury at Elimination Chamber when Travis Scott just decided to haul off and knock the hell out of him.
Clearly, he does not know how to throw a wrestling punch. Clearly.
No.
Yes.
Travis Scott went off script. Like, flat out. He just was like, oh, we're all beating the crap out of him. Here I go. Oh, yuck.
Yep. And then the main event saw Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight facing off for the United States Championship. And LA Knight finally ended the awful U.S. Championship reign of Shinsuke Nakamura after Nakamura tried to cheat multiple times during the match and got his belt back with everybody saying LA Knight.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you feel about LA Knight getting the belt back?
When Shinsuke Nakamura came back as this heel from out of nowhere, because granted, Shinsuke Nakamura was deleted off the WWE roster and buried in the deepest hole ever by, Vince and the WWE in general, I wasn't expecting to come back. When he came back, beat LA Knight, I was blown away. First match he won, and I was like, what are we doing here? Putting this bar on him. They should have done it a long time ago. But LA Knight winning it back gives me good vibes from WWE now. I was a big LA Knight fan when he was United States champion. I still am. I'm glad he got the belt back. And I hope that they do something with LA Knight that pushes him into a title opportunity because, granted, the WWE is running out of people to go against Cody Rhodes and go against Gunther and go for the World Championships, and they need to put LA Knight in that category, in that realm. Eventually, in mid-card titles on not LA Knight's thing. I hope they really push for him to be world champion because I think he can be a great world champion, 2, 3, 4 years down the line. And they're just waiting for that perfect snap moment to be like, oh crap, he's a really good wrestler. We should put him as WWE World Champion. And they're going to do it. But they're going to do it when Cena's gone and The Rock's gone and Roman's retired and Seth isn't off the hinges and a lunatic. They're going to wait until it all dies down to sneak him in there to plug him into that championship opportunity match.
Yeah, but if they're going to do it, they need to do it.
Can I just say I am definitely not a fan of heel Shinsuke Nakamura. Not because he's a heel. It's just that Shinsuke Nakamura should not be a heel. It's clear to me he can't do it.
I
You
agree
know,
completely.
So
I am not a
Shinsuke
fan of heel
should be.
Shinsuke.
Yep. And to LA Knight, I wanted LA Knight to be champion, to be WWE champion last year. Because the best comparison everyone has for him is DDP. He is very comparable to Diamond Dallas Page as far as his charisma level and his age, because he is in his late 30s. And he's able to get this type of traction. So yeah, I want to see LA Knight, in the title picture, like Alex said. I openly want to see. I want to see a lot of things, but again, we're going to see what happens, play it by ear and just trust the process, because I do believe that, that Triple H definitely has a plan for for LA Knight, because he has the shoes of a champion. That's an old promo in the heydays.
To correct what you said, LA Knight is actually 42 years old. So what I was gonna say is, if they're gonna put him in the world title picture, they need to do it soon, because he is kind of getting up there in age. Granted, he is in great shape, for 42 years old, but I don't think
the body can only take so much.
Right,
the body can only take so much.
Triple H is a great COO, but I don't think he may not want the face of the company to be someone who's 44, 45 years old being WWE champion, unless it's, John Cena winning number 17 at WrestleMania.
Yeah, well, LA Knight also has the benefit of being the current face of Slim Jim, so there is that.
But I believe he's with main event Jey Uso in that second commercial as well, if I remember correctly.
That I just remember the first time I saw that commercial and I about died laughing. That was awesome.
Yeah.
He has the charisma. He has the Miz charisma to do something. Just adding a babyface form and not a heel form like the Miz is.
Yeah.
But Kat, what are your thoughts on LA Knight winning the U.S. Championship?
I also do not like Shinsuke being a heel. He's too much of a, I don't know.
He's too charismatic.
He's so charismatic, and he's a showman. And you can't be a fun-loving showman and be a heel. Unless you're trying to be like the Joker from Batman. So the fact that LA Knight is now holding that title, I have been waiting for that man to finally win that title, and I don't know, the age thing doesn't really seem to be as much of an issue. I did think that he got a little bit lost in the conversation for a couple of months. Just because everybody was talking about the bloodline, everybody was talking about The Rock, everybody was talking about Cena, and now I kind of feel like LA has gotten a little bit of the spotlight back, if that makes sense. Sorry, this cough. But I'm ecstatic that he is back in kind of the main picture of WWE, because I just love his whole persona.
Yeah. To get back to Shinsuke for a minute. The person who could probably pull that heel persona off better would be Kazuchika Okada, who's currently in AEW. The Rainmaker could pull it off, but Shinsuke clearly can't.
I feel like he's pulling it off already, Okada.
Yeah, because he can. Because Okada
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. Shinsuke is just, he's too likable. Like, people
Yes,
really like him. So when he came out as a
has
heel, I was
positive
like, this
charisma.
can't be right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, I could,
It's
you guys are going to laugh at me and disagree with me, but I can kind of see Sami Zayn as like a quirky, fun-loving heel.
he was.
He was,
He
yeah.
wa-
But I mean, like standalone. Like he could do it without having to be in the bloodline.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
He did kind of do that with the whole conspiracy theorist gimmick that he had a couple years ago. I mean, to me, that was just downright hilarious. The stuff that they would cook up for him to say. But Jayme, what are your thoughts on it?
Two things, because there's two different conversations going on. There's the Shinsuke Nakamura viewpoint, so I'll start off on that. Then I'll talk about LA Knight. Yeah, sorry, can't say his name without saying it. Shinsuke Nakamura in New Japan Wrestling, one of the best heels that New Japan has ever had when he was the king of strong style with his strong style matches and things like that. So if you have not educated yourself on how great of a heel Shinsuke Nakamura can be, if given the creativity to be able to do so, go educate yourself. He is phenomenal as a heel. With the current gimmick though, the kind of Shaolin samurai entrance, I love the visuals. I love the presentation of the samurai. I love that he brought back his red mist that he had in New Japan. I think it's just not the right time for him to be as champion. He needs to have some great storytelling feuds to really showcase what he can do before he gets thrusted into the title picture. I do feel like they did the one hiccup in the Triple H era was thrusting him into having the belts as soon as he was revealed in his samurai getup. That is one mistake that Triple H has made because he did not give it proper time to showcase what he is expecting to see from Shinsuke in this heel form. I do not want him to go back to being face anytime soon because I am a fan of heel Shin, and I want to see them actually get creative and give him some good storylines where he can showcase some of his strong style things in this form. To LA Knight, yeah, I was a fan of his back when he was in TNA as Eli Drake. Yeah, and
oh yeah,
I loved his
dummy. Yeah.
Exactly. I was getting ready to go to that. I had the dummy soundboard downloaded on my phone. And back then I could see that he was essentially, in WWE terms, money in the bank. He has the charisma, he has the physique, he has the in-ring storytelling. He can cut a promo on a drop of a dime. He has the shoes of a champion. Exactly. So him winning the title and being able to be in WrestleMania for this time around, I just hope that he has an opponent for WrestleMania and can actually showcase his skills on the grandest stage of them all, because it's a long time overdue. We were talking about in the past with the Bloodline storyline and him trying to get the title back then. Triple H told him to be patient, and he knew that the Bloodline story had to come to an end because that was the focal point. And now that it had come to an end, now we have a literal universal explosion of all these great storylines happening all at the same time. And LA Knight is one.
But it's a great day to be a wrestling fan. It really is, because there's so many storylines that are well written out, had the time to develop, and even when we thought that we had all the answers, like I said, WWE decided to give us curveballs and change the questions, which draws even more of a hype to WrestleMania since we're literal weeks away from it, and I can't wait.
Greg was definitely gave me that look of what in the world did I just walk into?
I do agree with what Jayme said about how LA Knight has the charisma, and I've seen clips of him in TNA with his dummy persona, and I loved videos watching him be that persona because I didn't watch TNA like that with him in there. And I do think that he should be in the title picture, hopefully early this year till late next year. Early this year, early next year. So I feel like he can beat a Gunther, he can beat a John Cena, he can beat a main event Johnny Uso for the World Championship and thrive with it for, a year or two before he loses it to someone who's worthy to lose it, and that's some BS like lose it to Sami Zayn or lose it to a call up random NXT person that didn't deserve it at all. I feel like he needs a really good storyline at Mania next year or later this year to put himself in that category as a world champion.
Dummy, yeah.
All right. Well, Cobra, do you want to talk a little bit about AEW? I will be honest, I do not keep up with that. I mean, I keep up with the stats and stuff, but I don't watch it. I do know that they have a pay-per-view going on as we are recording this podcast. So, Cobra, take it away.
Well, definitely know that AEW's latest, they believe it's Revolution's going on right now. I believe. I will, however, say I don't watch it as often as I should, but I do believe that it needs to be brought up on this podcast as much as possible because it is AEW. It deserves respect. However, I will say I kind of wish that Tony Khan would get his head out of his ass because it's just, it's almost at times, it's almost like, what are you doing, man? The way Edge. Go ahead, Kat.
He had MJF lose tonight. During
What?
this.
Really?
Yeah, MJF lost.
What the
No,
heck?
no.
Tony Khan needs somebody to look him in the face and tell him that he is ruining his product and that he needs to just take a step back. He's trying to be like the next Vince, okay?
He's trying to be Vince Russo is what he's trying to be. He's not trying to be Vince McMahon. He's trying to be Vince Russo.
This is all like if if you ever had a dream match in your head, he has probably put it on the screen by now.
Yeah.
He just, no one has looked at him and said, you need a storyline. you need this to make sense.
I swear, ever since Sting retired, he has just been absolute garbage.
I don't know if fans will watch this probably no more.
He built the whole thing on Sting.
No, he built the thing around Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. Yeah, Cody Rhodes,
and
Young
then
Bucks,
he built it around Sting.
And then Sting, and then he built it around Sting, which I love Sting. Don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that Sting was unselfish in his run. Realistically,
yeah.
Sting was like, I'm not here to win world titles. I'm here to help grow the younger talent. Unlike a certain red and yellow piece of crap, brother.
AEW has a roster issue. They have overload amount of wrestlers with too many storylines, too many seeds planted, and too much. Mercedes Moné has 5 different belts, defends none of them ever, flaunts around with them. Like, oh, look at me, my 4 belts. I'm so pretty. I'm so sexy. Look at me on TV. You have, Will Ospreay being a massive Cowboy Crusher in a steel cage, even though that feud's been happening for what, a year and a half now. We have Josh Alexander, who has yet to sign and debut at AEW at all. He might show up tonight. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. And MJF, like Kat said, he lost. The biggest heel in AEW's history has been plastered on AEW's pillows with Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Darby Allin has basically died since his Jungle Perry feud with, the Young Bucks and stuff. Tony Khan needs to just give up AEW, give it to someone better, and just go away. I don't know if it's his dad's problem. I don't know if Shad Khan's telling him he's doing something wrong in AEW, or he's just giving him Daly's place every 6 months. But hey, use Daly's place. I don't use it no more. It's ridiculous.
Or Shad Khan's trying to tell him, hey, this isn't like the Jaguars. You can't just sell it to London. You can't just take it to London.
Which is that 2 pay-per-views in London already in the past, 3 years?
Yeah.
Which was everything all out both times.
Yeah. Anywho, I hate to say it, I think we should actually move on to something a little bit more important than AEW. Don't you think, Greg?
Yeah, but that's I believe that's all we got for tonight.
No, we don't. We got the Hall of Fame. We got
The Hall of Fame news, yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
we have,
correct.
Who
It
else
was
teared up watching Cody go visit Lex Luger?
like
I did.
yes.
I did.
And not only
And the
Lex Luger,
DDP.
the natural disasters, earthquake and typhoon, will be in the Hall of Fame. John Tenta, earthquake, was one of the greatest behind the scenes locker room guys. Like, everyone loved him. He was one of the true good guys. If you saw the Dark Side of the Ring episode involving him, it was just sad to hear what had happened to him. And further proof that wrestlers did need a union back then, and Hulk Hogan has a lot of blood on his hands.
He was the main reason they didn't have a union back then. Because of Hulk Hogan. He was such a loud mouth person that no one stood up for themselves. Hulk Hogan would just beat them down with his words.
Now, well, not only that, but Hulk Hogan was always out for self. Because if the wrestlers unionized, they would have gotten pretty comparable pay, like more equal, more right. And Hulk Hogan was definitely not that. I mean, he still isn't. He's let's not get too political here. But the point still stands here. Hulk Hogan has blood on his hands because the wrestling form a union. But also with Lex Luger finally getting into the Hall of Fame, he was well deserving of it. Obviously, his issues in the past had kind of prevented him from being in the Hall of Fame, especially the controversy surrounding the death of Miss Elizabeth. That was on him. He will even neglect that was all him because of how messed up he was. And of course, his physical state currently. We know that he has been working with DDP to try to get into some form of better shape physically, because he is a quadriplegic. He is a high functioning quadriplegic by his own admission. And they're
he stood
trying
up
to make
to give
sure
Cody a hug.
yes,
in that segment.
But again, Kat, I think the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame, and even the WWE themselves were also trying to make sure that, they could present Lex Luger in a better visual state, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of wrong to say, I know, but
no,
a
it
lot
makes
of
sense.
there's not. there's not many.
It makes sense, yeah.
There's not many wheelchair accessible podiums, if that makes sense. I hate to say it. I also hate to say it like that too, but again, to see Lex Luger go into Hall of Fame, well deserved. Lex Express, his time in WCW as a multiple time WCW champion. He has iconic moments in wrestling. He is deserving of the WWE Hall of Fame. He is a part of the Monday Night War. I mean, he was part of the biggest moment of the Monday Night War, the literal first shot. He was a part of the first episode of Nitro, the closing moments of it. So, it is almost criminal to not see him in the Hall of Fame. But at the same time, I did understand why he wasn't in the Hall of Fame. It was just, hey, he had heavy, heavy baggage. Anyone add any more?
No, I
Nope.
think that makes sense. And you said most everything that should be said.
Yeah, I'm not too young to remember any of the Monday Night War or anything like that, so I can't give that much better of an opinion on it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting, Alex, you're younger than me. I do keep forgetting I'm one of the oldest ones here besides Kat. After all, Kat is the team mom of the podcast here, so there is that. TEAM,
Alright.
not teen. Anywho, Greg,
Well,
you're the host, not me. I don't want to overstep my
no,
bounds.
you're good. No, you're good. I think that's a good place to close the show out.
Yeah.
We will be back next week
And
for I'm sorry.
Yeah, we will be back next week. We also want to give a special shout out to our other podcasts, The Lap Down, which you host, Greg. Biscuits and Penalties, that Alex and I host, our hockey podcast. The Dirt and Turf podcast, that Kat and I host. And of course, the Hard Count, our football podcast. And before we go, I do want to say that this podcast was brought to you by Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. Smackin'
Yes.
Sunflower Seeds, of course. They have their variety pack all around. They have sour cream and onion, cinnamon churro, cracked bell pepper, lemon pepper, black pepper, not bell pepper, dill pickle, cheddar jalapeno, maple brown sugar, and for a limited time, I shared this with everyone here, but if you don't believe me, they have ketchup flavored sunflower seeds. You mad lads at Smackin'! You mad lads!
I can see all the baseball players this year having the ketchup sunflower seeds.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, it is currently only available for 3 days only, so get it while you can. If you do decide to give Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, the #1 viral sunflower seed in the market today, a try, please use our affiliate link in the bio, wherever you get your podcasts. Show the channel some love. That is Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. And of course, don't forget to check us out on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and other places to get your podcasts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, sir. We will be back next week for 316 Day. But for now, I'm Greg, and for Alex, Cobra, Kat, and Jayme, this has been the Social Slam, and we will see you guys next Sunday.
Ring the bell. Ding,
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 ding.
ding.